Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Murtland and Monica Weakly.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jay Mert?
You know, this is one of my favorite topics. I'm pumped to talk to our guest today.
When I found out who you invited to be our guest today and what the topic was, I was like, man, you and I might agree. And we might fight this guy. This guy. It's in poor form to fight your guest and leave him on the mat. So to
I don't
speak.
care. They know. We're not going to fight him though. He's right.
Oh my God.
I'm actually a fairly big dude in person, just so we're clear.
Those are fighting words.
I know a Zoom is hard to see, but you know.
All right. Well, we're going to introduce Randy here in a second, Jen. I'll let you do that. But for now, I want to thank you for listening and coming back and, checking us out on all the Twitter, Facegram, and the YouTubes. You can always find us there. And we love it when you of course, share our podcast if it's something you think somebody else could benefit from as well. Today, Jen and I and Randy are going to be duking it out over this question. How to build a scalable team. To build a scalable team. Notice we didn't say profitable. Notice we didn't just say how to build a team. But we're talking scalability. And why is that important? Jen, introduce us to Randy and let's get after this thing because I don't know.
Welcome, Randy. So this is Randy Wouters. And the reason that I wanted to have him on is, Randy was a physics teacher. I love physics.
It's so cool.
Yes.
Patience.
But he's been licensed since 2018. He's at eXp Realty, but he's been an operations manager, a growth director, and now he's the CEO of Build You, which coaches, trains, supports agents. I mean, you've dealt with, how many teams do you think, how many team agreements throughout these has it been only 4 years? 4 years.
Yeah,
do you think you've seen?
Share that aspect of your resume, because I think that sort of lays the groundwork for your knowledge base.
That's a really interesting question. I haven't kept track. That's something I probably should keep track of or go back and think about. It's really interesting, sort of my fast and furious intake into the real estate industry. I was on staff at eXp Realty as the growth operations manager. And in that role was several different roles, but one of them was to review and approve every team agreement in the country for, standard teams, mega icon teams, it doesn't matter, right? And so just seeing what everybody's doing, having conversations with team leaders when, there's an error, there's something to be fixed, there's something, hey, they need to think about this. And so getting a really intimate insight into a world I don't think many people get to see.
Mm-hmm. No. Most agents are just alone, right? And then everybody's they had a good first year, they sold 5 houses and they're like, I'm going to start a mega team.
A mega team. Yeah. 5 houses straight to the mega team. I love it.
Right.
I need 7 buyer agents.
Hey, it actually takes that type of personality to crush it. And I'm not going to lie. They're just go for it.
Was there one, Randy, when you saw it, you're like, now this is the prime. We don't have to go into it, but did you see one where you're like, this is how you set up a team? This is it.
It's funny because I couldn't say that I could point to necessarily one, but I would definitely say there's about 5 to 10% of the teams out there that I've reviewed and talked to that I think, man, this is cool. They've got it dialed in. They know exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and where they're going. And
so 90 to 95%, you're like, you should not be a team.
Correct.
And it's not that they shouldn't be a team necessarily. It's just that they don't know what they don't know. Just like agents when they start.
You don't have to be nice here. You don't have to pretend. You can just lay it out.
And listen, everybody was a new licensee at one point.
Right.
Everybody's a new team leader at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally the same type of learning curve to start in real estate as it is to start a team.
Yeah.
That first year of, I don't know what I don't know. That's the same for a team leader. No matter how successful you were as an individual agent, starting a team is a different beast. It takes a different skill set, right? It takes a different part of you that I think a lot of agents haven't really considered is I'm moving into a people management role instead of I do my thing and I do it well.
Right.
which is a different beast. It's a different whole thing. And also, I do think that a lot of people should not get into real estate if they don't have a heart to pour into people.
Right.
Because if you want to scale anything really, so scalable versus profitable, you have to be profitable to be scalable.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause if there's no,
Right.
well, in the tech industry in the last 5 or 6 years, you wouldn't think that was true.
Well, I say, okay, let's rephrase that. You have to have the potential for profitability.
Okay, there you go.
Now, whether you're taking the profit and actually experiencing the profit yet, because, theoretically in the growth mode of any business, any startup, you're giving before you get return. Right. And so if you think about a team as a startup business, first of all, most startups fail, period, end of sentence.
Yeah.
Most teams also fail.
Right. It's in line.
And most agents also fail. So there's really, if it really comes down to the 90-10 rule, like 10% have a chance. In real estate, it's true. And as a team leader, it's true. And in startups, that's true. They have a chance to be successful. And so there are some things that you can do to really eliminate some of those very costly mistakes, heartaches, emotions, come into fighting terms with your agents or whatever. Like, think of Fight Club.
Share those with us. Let's hear about those.
Yeah.
What can you do
Oh my gosh, there's so many. So I always like to use analogies. Listen, I think people remember stories and analogies way more than details and buzzwords.
For sure.
So let's look at a sort of a boating situation. You can't become the captain of a ship without knowing everyone's job, without being a professional in all the areas of what it takes to sail a boat, right? You've got to know, and you probably worked your way up to get that knowledge and that expertise. And I think a lot of team leaders ignore working on themselves first. They ignore working on their expertise, their skills, their knowledge, and they go straight to wanting to be the captain. And it's like, captain of what? I mean, you know what I mean? No offense, but
Captain of hoping I can out earn my stupidity. That's what I'm the captain of.
Captain of your own ego is what it is.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what it is. That's
right.
just it.
And I don't want to say that like you have to be the most successful agent to be a really great team leader, because that's actually,
Not
I don't think
true.
they're related. But I do think when you're working on yourself as the captain, I subscribe to the mentality of servant leadership. Okay. Servant leadership means that you're willing to give to your members more than you give of yourself sometimes. And you're willing to serve them at the highest possible level that you can. So let's go back to where we were talking about being a great real estate agent. Everyone knows that great real estate agents have a reputation of amazing service to their clients.
Right.
That's how you become a great real estate agent.
Right.
Not a good one, not an okay one, but a great one. Is everybody knows you as, you have to use Monica. Her service is impeccable.
Right.
Okay. You know what I mean? So think about your client as a team leader. It's not the buyers and sellers anymore.
It's the agents.
Your client is the agent. If you can give that same level of servant leadership and service to your agents and become a full-time leader and take leadership qualities and trainings and invest in yourself as a leader, that's becoming the true captain of your ship.
Right.
Not out of the title, but out of earned respect.
Yeah.
So it's no longer just watch me because I'm amazing and follow me. It's let me serve you. Let me show you. Let me help raise you, right?
Now, there's a difference because we talked about profitable versus scalable. Profitable, you can be 100% profitable by being the you show, the me show.
Yeah.
Everybody supports me. I'm amazing. Look at my face on every billboard. You can absolutely be profitable. But is that scalable?
No.
Yes, right.
That's the
No,
question.
it's you.
Because it's you, right? And so
Yes. I love
unless you sort of duplicate yourself into others and download your brain into everybody else around you and lift everyone up around you, you can't truly scale, right? You can't multiply like you were hoping. So So first step out of the 3 steps, I'd say, is work on you as the captain. And that may take a journey. That may be 1, 2, 3, 5 years of let's work on you. Let's work on.
And this is like what I've seen too in teams is like people, it's kind of like when buyers are looking for houses, it's their first house, but they are looking like it's their forever home. And as agents, we know it is not their forever home. right? Like
Right.
it's not happening. This is your first house. You know nothing about a house and your life will change. And
Right.
so like with team members too, it's the same thing. They're like, I'm looking for the first admin and I'm going to have this administrator or these salespeople forever. And it's not true because in the journey to working on your leadership style and working on yourself, like it's going to change.
Yep. And a lot of people rush to hire their admin and their TC and all this stuff. If you're going to hire anybody, the very first person that you should hire, anybody take a guess?
TC.
Nope. It's not.
What?
We're going to fight.
It's somebody who has achieved your goals.
Oh, coach.
Somebody who can tell you exactly the steps to do. Because guess what? You can avoid so much stupid tax.
Yeah.
Right?
But you have to listen, though. You can hire them and not listen. That happens all the time.
You are, oh my gosh, 1,000% correct.
Yeah.
But, okay, let me put it this way. You can hopefully avoid the stupid tax if you will listen. If you will listen to somebody who's been there, done that, and said exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on how fast you want to grow and how much you're willing to invest in yourself. We talked about becoming the captain. Captains have to invest in themselves. You have to invest in coaching and learning and courses and leadership. And leadership qualities don't just come from real estate conventions and real estate coaches. They can come from lots of places, right? And so definitely the first person that I would ever hire before a TC, before an admin is, even if it's a short-term coach or a consultant that's going to come in, solve some problems, I would say definitely that person first, because you're going to skip so many stupid steps and wasted money in other places.
Agreed.
Okay. Now,
can I just stop here because I'm having such a freaking aha moment, and I've been this subject for so many years as a team leader. I saw that were just disasters, but this, Randy, this is so good, guys. If I'm hearing you correctly, there's really the real team that kind of exists right now that seems to be 90% dysfunctional is when it's me team. It's me and my people that do stuff for me. And that's how they're taught to build a team. But what we're going for is the us. Like it's
this is also what we thought about. What do you name your team? Because it's been ingrained in us that you name your team your freaking name. So dumb. Go back to that episode. Hashtag Team Murtland. Don't name it yourself.
Okay. Anyway, Randy, back to the boat analogy, but this is so freaking good, guys. I hope you're listening.
Well, so I wanted to say that there is an I in team. It's in the a-hole. Just saying.
That's right. That's right.
Anyways.
But I think that's what we look at all the time are these me teams, these around one person. Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to dog people that have a profitable me team, right? And if that's you, because we have even agents local that, it's their face on everything. It's their name on everything, and they get full credit in the MLS, and the team members get zero credit. Not even half credit, zero credit. They're just running around showing houses. And it's the me team, right? I don't want to say that can't be profitable, because it can be profitable, but is it truly scalable? No, right? Okay, so let's talk about the boat. Okay. So we got the captain of the boat's ready. We've got to build a boat. You can't pile a bunch of agents into your boat that doesn't exist, first of all.
True.
Okay.
What is the boat?
All right, let's talk about the boat. The boat is your business. The boat are the systems.
Oh my God, you have to have
processes.
A business?
Okay, well, maybe we need to back up a little bit. I thought we were sort of advanced on this podcast. Maybe not. Let's go back to the simple. I'm just kidding.
Our listeners are super sharp. They are.
You have to have a business, okay? Think of this as your startup business. If you didn't already have a business as a solo agent, you definitely have to have a business as a team leader. Right. Think of it as a startup company.
Yes.
You are the CEO.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're first starting your team, you're also the tech guy. You're the marketing agency. You're the mail. You're the
janitor.
Everything.
Everything.
Right. You're all of it at one time. Now, if you spend a lot of time focusing on, your skills, your knowledge, expertise, grabbing a coach, and then you're ready to build the boat. And the boat is all of your systems. How do like your lead flow model, where do your leads come in? Where do they go? How do they get there? All that stuff, right? By the way, leads are the lifeblood of any team. Whether you generated them or they generated them, there's no business without leads. Okay. And I don't care what business you are. I don't care if you're the local dentist, you've got to have leads.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got your lead flow models, you've got your documents. Your team agreement is the number one most important document of your entire business. And a lot of people, it pains me. That's why I have a whole course on a team agreement now. It pains me that people will grab somebody else's team agreement, slap their name on it, and call it good.
No.
Do not do that. Again, this is coming. I have reviewed thousands and thousands of team agreements. Do not use blindly someone else's team agreement. Also, this is like a number one tip. Don't go to a lawyer for your team agreement. The lawyer doesn't know anything about teams, doesn't know anything about real estate. And even if they say they're a real estate lawyer, they still don't know about teams. And the team agreement is not a legal document. What? Yes, it is, Randy. No, it's not. It's a memorandum of understanding between two partners that are getting ready to embark on a journey together. And guess what? That agent is an independent contractor and can walk away from your team at any moment. So don't say, oh, it's a legally binding contract for 12 months. No, it's not. They can walk any day. They don't even have to give you notice. They are an independent contractor. So instead of a got you contract that you hide all these weird things in, that's all in legalese, why don't you spend the time, figure out what you are truly doing, get partners that want to row the boat the same direction, and get an understanding of expectations so that we're not sitting here fighting over one stupid commission.
Right.
In arbitration because,
oh,
you said it was going to be this. It's like, no. And by the way, I just got a notification on my phone that there's a tornado watch here.
Ooh.
So if I get cut off, I apologize and I'll try to get back on as soon as I can.
Wow.
Okay. Don't
I just heard
a
huge thunder clap over me.
You don't have basements there, do you?
No, Florida. No, you'd
be underwater.
You dig 2 feet and you're hitting water. All right. So we got the number one most important document is your team agreement.
Well, I think too, the team agreement also, like you said, if you can take the time to outline it, it really sounds like it will also help you think through the process of 100%. What is really going to happen, which will help you attract the right people to your group or your team.
And this document has to outline what you are offering as well. I've seen so many of these
and what you're expecting
about what they're getting me.
Yes.
And it's like, wait a second, what the hell are you giving them?
Right.
I love it. So that is a section in my team agreements where, so I learned this thing from Tony Robbins' book, Awaken Giant Within. It's this one sentence and it's on my blackboard next to me all day. The quality of questions equals the quality of life.
Boom.
And so you have to ask yourself the right questions in any relationship, in any partnership, in any business, in any agreement. So when you're creating your team agreement, you need the right questions. If you need those questions, take the course I have. It asks all the right questions to get you to the point.
I feel like you're giving me relationship advice also.
I'm not going to lie.
Are you?
This is a people.
I think you are.
It is a relationship. It's a freaking team agreement.
It is. It is a relationship. And does anybody know the top reason for divorce, since we're on relationship topic?
Money.
Communication.
No. It's unmet expectations. So guess what the number one reason people leave a team is?
Unmet expectations.
You got it. You guys are all sharp.
Smart.
It's because people are people. Doesn't matter if it's a relationship like intimately or if it's a business relationship. Unmet, unspoken expectations. It causes a expectation reality gap.
Yeah.
And I learned that in a marriage study. And it's so true in real estate.
Yeah.
If I'm expecting one thing and I get a different thing that's not what I was expecting, I'm not happy.
I'm pissed.
There's confrontation, dissension, dissatisfaction, and ultimately retention problems. Okay.
Divorce.
I could go on and on about team agreements, but let's talk about the boat. Let's talk about the rest.
Let's take a quick break. Let's hear a word from our partners. And when we return, we will get the final two. We need to get our boat going.
Got to go back in the boat.
All right, let's go.
Big cruise. We got to get back in the boat.
Are you struggling with what is the ideal path for you? What's next for you? There's so many options to try to figure out, and there's so many different ways that you could take your business, but it's all pretty confusing. So our coach, Coach John Kitchens, came up with a short little quiz that will help you figure out the ideal path for you. Go to realestatecareeraccelerator.com, take the free short quiz, and figure out your ideal path. That's realestatecareeraccelerator.com.
All right, welcome back to our conversation about building a scalable team. Randy, you are bringing so many great points to this concept. I hope people are listening to this and really
Feels like therapy
internalizing
session.
it for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's keep going about the boat. We've got the captain. The captain has now worked on him or herself. We've got the boat, meaning we've got the systems, the processes, the
Agreements.
leads, the business, right?
Right.
Now what?
Yeah, let's kind of wrap that up with the boat. What is the boat, and why does it matter? I think a lot of people spend so much time trying to attract before the boat is ready for people to be on the boat.
Yes.
And
Oh
so
my God.
one of the things that's a black hole of time suck is your tech stack. And that didn't used to be a thing because, back in the day, you had your, you got faxed over the list and you had your binder and some people would walk in and look at it. Well, like, we're not in that age anymore, right? So your tech stack really does matter. What CRM are you using, right?
Mhm.
There's a million out there. I'm not even going to give advice on that. Just whatever you do on a daily basis is the CRM you should have.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one, right?
Whatever you'll go into every day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not in it alone. Now you've got a team of people. You're building the boat, right? So how does how are you planning on sharing the leads in that CRM and holding people accountable, not as a got you, but in the mentality of a coach,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, because you're a coach, trainer, leader now. You're not the
Right. And nobody wants to work for their dad or their like angry uncle,
Ew.
right? Nobody wants to work for the mean guy all the time. Like that'll be a fast rotating team. Like that team won't last.
Mhm.
And so think about your tech stack. How are you, following up? How do you deal with past clients? How do you deal with closing gifts and lock boxes? And what are you planning to do? And this is where the really boring part happens. And this is the part that I love. You have to write down your standard operating procedures and physically write it down. Okay. Every step of the way. Because what you're doing as a team leader is you're saying, I want everybody to build upon this reputation, and they have to be, think about like my favorite restaurant here locally. Do you guys have a Chick-fil-A?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, but we call them hate nuggets. So
Okay,
we
you
don't eat them up here.
You
Just
can call
Monica
them. You can
does.
call them whatever you want to call them, but they will absolutely dominate in my market, anyways, on customer service.
Yeah.
And those fries are the same every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful and they're perfect. I don't care if you want to use substitute McDonald's or whatever. It's the same process, same system. It's because they have a standard operating procedure for every sandwich and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to duplicate yourself, you have to have systems to do that.
Yes.
And what I mean by systems, it doesn't have to be a complicated system. It just has to be step by step. Here's what you do next. How am I going to train this agent? That's a system. How am I going to onboard this agent? That is a system. How am I going to get them up to speed for buyer's consultations and listing presentations and working with the TC? Again, standard operating procedures is the long, boring part. And then the last part of building your boat, and obviously I can go into a lot more detail, but is what do you expect in terms of professionalism and in terms of, nobody wants to talk about this, but do you allow agents on your team to drive around a 30-year-old car with the tailpipe dragging? What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you need to expect Mercedes, but does it have to be clean? Is it allowed to have polarizing bumper stickers?
Mm-hmm.
Is it allowed to, do you even allow your agents to drive people around to showings? Like in Florida, that's no-go anymore. Like it's a meet you there state now.
Mm-hmm.
That should be What about, are you including social media presence in that?
Thank you.
Oh.
That's everything. That's
where does
using
it cross
branding.
the line of like because they're still independent contractors, right?
Sure. Absolutely. Again, because they're on your team and you're trying to invest in them to become the best agent that they can, you're going to give them access and tools to the branding kit in Canva, for instance. I love Canva. I have Canva. I add my agents to it and I say, here's your branding kit. Feel free to be creative and have all the stuff, but legally in the state of Florida, you've got to have my logo, and the EXP logo, because we're on the EXP, right? That's legal. You have to have that. Everything else, I want your face. I want your name and your contact information all over everything. Not me. I don't want my face on any of your stuff. Go ahead and do your thing. Now, obviously there's rules and guidelines per state and per company.
Right.
Again, write it all out. Assume that your agent's jumping on your boat, know nothing. Okay.
Right.
Be willing, be able to take on a new licensee, even if that's not your goal.
We're going to fight.
Even if it's not your goal.
Different
be able to.
podcast.
Okay. You're supposed to blow it all up.
Well, here's why I say that. Here's why I say that is you need to have your systems dialed in for the lowest common denominator. A new licensee is like, they're not going to know anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I don't recommend building your whole entire team on new licensees.
You won't have one. You're forgetting about the profitability piece.
No. Well, and that's why I'm saying that, but be able to serve even a new licensee.
Got it.
Because you will earn the respect of everybody around you by saying, I have it all. I have all the pieces in line ready for you. Okay. So we've got our boat.
Okay.
And now we can get people onto the boat.
Yay. Welcome.
We're getting ready to set
Thanks
sail.
for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. There's mimosas in the back, right? So we've got, we've got our boat and we're ready to set sail. And that is, you've got to get your agent attraction. I don't care what company you're at. Every brokerage is built on agents. Every team is built on agents. I heard a top coach recently say, if you want to double your production, triple your agent count.
Yeah. Boom.
Right?
Yeah.
You might say double, but no, it's triple agents to double your income. And here's the thing, but you can't just bring on a ton of agents if you don't have these things dialed in. Right? And I always tell people, like, look, have a phased approach no matter what you're doing. Reverse engineer the goal. If I want to be here and I'm starting here, I've got to have a phased approach to get there. Right. And step 1, work on myself. Step 2, build the boat, get it all organized, have a consultant help you. Don't try to do this alone. Skip a lot of steps, skip a bunch of steps. And then when you get to your agent attraction, you've got to get a system in place. I don't care what the system is, but it's a business. Take it seriously as a business. You've got to have the same agent attraction methods every single time. Because if you don't know what truly works. Right? Okay. So we're getting agents on the boat. We're ready to set sail and we're ready to scale this thing beyond our local market, beyond. Now, if you're a team at a traditional brokerage where it's a franchise and you sort of are in your one market and that's kind of the area that you serve, that's fine. It just won't scale unlimitedly. It'll scale to a point where you have market share in your area. Okay. Now, some people, they've made it. That's it. Okay. And I'm not saying that's a bad place to be, but I am saying there is kind of a 2.0 to this.
Yeah.
There's a next level.
Yes.
And so that next level would be sailing past your seas that past your borders and going into other markets and other states and even other
countries.
Right? It just depends on what you're trying to build. And listen, as long as the boat is, I mean, we're
watertight.
Watertight and is sailable, right? And everybody fits in the boat, then there's no reason that you can't expand to another market. The only thing that changes is the SOP for that market. The standard operating procedure. Now that state might have some different regulations, laws. That's fine. Write them down, get them in there, and have your agents follow those for that area. Okay.
Okay.
So if you truly want to scale, you invest in your agents so much that you yourself become the leader of leaders.
Yes.
Instead of the leader of members. Now,
the leader of what?
Leader of members or leader of leaders. Which one do you want to be?
Leader of leaders.
Leader of leaders. So let's pretend that you open in 5 states as a team. Can you be the leader in all the states? Maybe.
Probably not.
You would be stretched really thin. It wouldn't be a fun job. But what if you built up a leader in each state or in each area and you then shifted your focus to, I'm going to pour everything I got into these 4, 5, 6 leaders, 10 leaders. And then those leaders' job is to pour into those agents.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about multiplication,
right?
Not addition, but multiplication.
Yeah,
that makes sense because your wingspan is only so wide. So instead of trying to reach so far, you just
which you won't be able to do. We all know that.
Right.
Correct.
You get too far, everything drops.
That makes sense.
Correct. Now let me ask you guys a question. And I'm who makes all the money? The agent, the captain, or the one who designs and builds all the boats?
I think the designer of the boat makes more money.
Well, because a boat designer that's selling lots of boats and the boats are all sailing at the same time and they're all bringing in money. Okay, so if you just spent all this time working on yourself, developing the boat, designing the system and everything like, you want it, what's to stop you from repeating that process in others? There's nothing. Now you download what you just did into somebody else and help them become their own captain.
Yes.
And now this thing is duplicatable, is repeatable, and you are the designer of this whole thing. That is building a real estate business.
Yes.
You are now no longer the chokehold of business being done. You guys know what I'm talking about when a business stops or comes to a grinding halt because of one person is out.
Right.
You don't want to build a business that
it's
you
so
are
dependent. Yeah.
So I don't want to be the captain. I want to be the company, the boat building company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to be the captain. Now you got to be a captain at first, just like you got to be the deckhand and the staff and the right. But then you go captain to boat builder.
I would never hire a boat builder that's never sailed.
Right. No, I've never been on one of my boats. Let me tell you,
I don't even like boats.
I don't like boats. I mean, there's boat.
We're just taking this analogy as far as we can go with it. Now,
but it's so good.
Again, stories stick with people, and they tug on the emotions, right? I mean, if you can relate your entire business to this idea of captaining a boat, building the boat, sailing the boat, getting all the agents on it, and then duplicating the whole process in others, now you're leaving a legacy, because now you are the leader of leaders,
mm-hmm.
and
they also become leaders of leaders.
Now you're starting to, that's the scalability of multiplication.
Can we do a quick group hug?
You know, the word that's coming to my mind, Randy, is Armada.
I love it.
You mean that's the grand scalability, right?
Yeah,
of it?
Absolutely. And listen, if you want to build yourself a retirement plan from the start, you have to think of, how do I get out of business?
Yeah.
From the start. And a lot of people don't think that. They're like, how do I get into business?
Yeah, there's like no retirement parties for real estate agents, which needs to change immediately.
100%.
My mentor at KW, when I was the team leader there, when I took the team leader job, we had our first meeting, and he sat across the table from me and he said, "When do you want to leave this job?" I was like, what are you talking about? But it was so smart. And as I grew and began to learn these concepts, like what you're talking about here, Randy, I get why he was saying like what do you want to achieve? And then let's make sure we get that so that when you exit, you're proud of what you finished,
Absolutely. And let's not pretend that agents aren't thinking beyond you.
Right.
Let's not be so full of ourselves that we think that they're going to stay with us until they're 85.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So let's just beat them to the punch. Mm-hmm. Let's get a growth plan for them from day one and say how they're going to leave your team. Mm-hmm. And I've been speaking on this topic for a while, and I love this concept.
We can't tell you're passionate about any of this.
Anything, right? So we're talking about retirement for an agent, but have you guys ever been to a launch party for an agent?
No.
What does that even mean? A launch party?
Yeah. No. What do you mean?
Okay. So what if I train up an agent, duplicate myself in this agent, and then they want to go start their own team? Well, I can launch them out of my team to become their own successful independent agent. Mm-hmm. We throw a big party, a whole thing. We make it a big deal.
Graduation, baby.
The graduation. We have a sign ready for them as a surprise with a bow on it. Nice. It's got their logo,
but not their picture. Does not have their picture on it.
Why?
Maybe
oh my God.
Listen, I like when it's their picture, but that's just me. So it's not my picture. Let's put it that way.
Okay, not your picture.
It's them. It's them.
That's great.
So the whole idea, though, let's invite all their friends and family, all their past clients, everybody to come launch them. And, that's on me as a team leader. I'm going to pay for that. Or I'm going to get some lenders and title to help me. But it's going to be a party, and it's going to be launching that agent out of my team to say, let's go help you crush it. Yeah. And other agents are going to look at that and go, what? They did what?
Right.
Because so many teams are built on
Like
you don't
trapping.
want them to leave. And and if you do leave, it's like a problem. But there's a way to build it where when they leave, because it's happening, when they leave, that it's better for everyone.
And think about the testimonial from that agent about you and your team compared to if you just kick them out on their ass.
Right. So I don't even call it join and leave. I call it rotate on and rotate off. So you rotate onto my team for a time and you rotate off. And then as soon as they rotate off of my team, they are starting their own individual. I've already mentored them. They already know what they're doing.
Right.
I wouldn't launch them if I didn't feel like they could fly, right? Like they could actually do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Now, immediately we start once a month leadership training.
Nice.
Okay. Once a month, one-on-ones with this agent to instill leadership into them and instill and inspire and motivate.
Captain school.
Yeah. We're putting them in captain school, captain training.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I love this analogy.
And we're prepping them if one day they want to build their own team. Not every agent is going to build their own team. Let's just get over yourself. You can always
still use leadership skills because those skills come in handy with clients, with colleagues. I mean, with everyone. And
we've all heard of late bloomers. Listen, you could have leadership one-on-ones for 2 years and not really show a whole lot of leadership, that you want to go build a team. But then all of a sudden, something happens in their life. Something happens internally, externally, something, and it clicks. And they say, I'm ready. And they've been doing these leadership trainings with you once a month, one-on-ones, and they're ready.
Yeah.
They're not on their own. They're not trying to figure it all out. And then when they are ready, then it's go time. Then it's saying, okay, let me help you build your boat. Let's go.
Right. I love it.
And you've got a written down, proven track record of how to do it.
Yeah.
If more team leaders did this, there'd be more retired real estate business owners. There would be more successful team leaders, and we wouldn't have 90 to 95% of them floating aimlessly on a raft.
Right. I love it.
So cool.
This is so good. And I think as the listener, if you had thought about a team or thinking that maybe you want to do this, and this is like inspiring to you, Randy, how can people get your course, get in touch with you, get more information? Hey, maybe even send you a lead in Florida.
Yeah.
I won't take it, but I'll give it to my team members.
There you go.
So buildyou.io, we're launching January 9th. It's launching out of our current company is called Randy Explains. I made that mistake of calling it naming it after myself. I know, but I've been hazed. So Randy Explains still exists until January 9th, and then we'll switch completely over to Build You. Now, Build You focuses on team leaders, influencers, and then also solo agents. But I will say the most people that we deal with are team leaders and influencers that want to grow and build and scale, just because that's really our expertise.
Right.
As far as, now they need to know how to do production to do that. Right. So yes, agent production is like the easy part, I think. Now, when it comes to actual consultation, I do one-on-ones. I do 6 sessions or 12 sessions with a team leader, and they're bulk because have you ever coached one person one time and then you just blew up their world and then they get so overwhelmed and then they leave you?
Yes.
Okay. That's again, I'm learning from my own mistakes. I've done that. So I said, look, the minimum is 6 because I am going to blow up your world in 3 sessions and then 3 to put it back together.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be scary and overwhelming and you might cry.
Yeah.
But
cry.
But we're going to put it back together and we're going to get you, further than when you started with me. And we're going to help you avoid a bunch of mistakes. I also do financial analysis. Our team does that. And we also have courses for team leaders and influencers for agent attraction. And team leaders, like that first course that I think everybody should take is Craft Your Top-Notch Team Agreement. It's very cheap. It's like the easiest money that you'll ever throw down on anything for your team. So yes, buildyou.io, formerly randyexplains.com. And we'd love to help as many people as possible. It does not matter what brokerage you're with. I want to emphasize that. We love everybody.
You can build a team anywhere.
You can do this anywhere. Yep.
You absolutely can.
It's be pretty easy at EXP, but you can do it anywhere.
Correct. And I think as long as you have the right heart, and you're willing to invest yourself in others, you could be a great team leader. If you don't care about others, just stick with selling real estate. Just please do us all a favor. Just right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
do
not
the
that
decisions
way,
you
but
make.
if you don't have that heart for others, like for helping others in grow their business, like
Right.
that's okay. That doesn't make you a horrible person. It's just a reality of like what
Know yourself.
fires
That's
you
part of
up.
leadership is
Yeah,
knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
All right.
and you know, as I would just leave you guys with one thing. First of all, you guys are awesome hosts, and you ask really great questions, and I appreciate you. I think more people need to have these conversations wrapped around teams, agent attraction, and the 2.0 version of what could be,
what's possible,
what could be.
That's
love it. So good.
That's gonna have to be the end of today's battle. But you guess what, Randy? You won us both over today.
All right. Yeah.
You're the winner. Yay.
You're the winner. So thank you so much for joining us. And Jen.
Yes. And if you're an agent and you want to learn how to partner with Monica and I to help grow your business, feel free to give me a call or a text, 513-400-1691. Thank you, Randy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Next time, Jen.
What we need right now is a source for great leads, and I found it. It is called Pipeline Pro Tools. So about 90 days ago, I booked a demo with them. And in that demo, we reverse engineered my business. We figured out how many leads we needed to get in order to get to the closings that we want. And they gave me a playbook to use in order to get that. So I've been using it for 90 days. We've gotten 12 qualified leads, and about half of them are already under contract or closed, which is great. And it is right now my #1 source for my best leads that I'm getting. I love this thing. I'm about to ramp up the number of leads that I get with them as well. So, and you might think it's expensive, and it's not. So I was looking for something that's very inexpensive, like affordable to everyone, but also generated great leads. We don't want crap leads. So what you do in order to get this, because I called them and I wanted to partner with them because I was like, this is exactly what our audience has been looking for. So they set up something specific just for us, just for Fight Club listeners. So you would go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club. And then you go to the demo, and the demo will show you how many leads you need in order to get the number of closings that you want to get. And then they will give you the playbook that I'm using, my #1 playbook for getting leads. And then you can use it too, and we can have happy closings. So go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club, book and go to the demo and get all the leads. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.